Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to Chris's Inked Pens for August 2024. I'm starting out with 8 pens and 8 inks, and I can tell you right now, I already know I'm going to have more than that when I bring you the progress report, because I have a new little ink sample that I'm trying out that I already want to see. I want to see another brown ink to compare it with. So it's so funny. I thought, well, but we'll start with our 8 and then we'll get into the ink journal, and that'll be a lot of fun, I think. So for today, I'll show you the 8 pens, and then we will write with each one of them, and we'll look at the ink tiles. And yeah, we'll take a closer look at the ink tiles too toward the end, and then we'll go to the library and have a little talk. So, okay, so first up is the Kaweco Sport. This is my favorite Kaweco. I have, I think, 5 of them, but this is my favorite. It's the Mellow Blue, and it's got a double broad on it, and I just can't get enough of it. In fact, I'm almost certain that I'm going to go ahead and eyedropper this time, because I've already, you know, just in like less than a day it just gobbles the ink. So I'm going to enjoy eyedropper in that. Okay, then next up is a Jinhao 82 in the pink, and I do have a broad Opus 88 nib on it. So I'm really enjoying that one. My goodness, it's just really pretty. Anyway, next up is a TWSBI Go in clear with a broad nib. Now, I have harvested so many nibs off of my TWSBI Go's and some of my other TWSBIs to make sure that I could have what I wanted on my Ecos, that it's not even funny. So that is the last one standing, the last Go that has a broad nib in it. I guess that'll tell you a little something, but I like the TWSBI Go's, but I think I'm becoming more excited about having the ink in the Ecos. So, okay, then next up is the Benu Briolette in Luminous Amber, and I did swap the fine nib that was on it, and I put that one on the scepter, and I now have a broad nib on this one. It's nice, excuse me, that the scepter and this one have the gold nib and not the silver, because it just makes it perfect. I could just unscrew the nib unit and swap them if I want to. And kind of neat too, because that scepter has some darker colors like blue and everything, where I have some really saturated blue inks that could go really good in that with a fine nib. So, but I know that I also like it in this one too. So, again, my nib swapping is one of my most happy parts of the hobby. So then next up is my Jinhao X750, and I've got a broad just a Yowo. It's unbranded, but it's a Yowo nib in it, and it's super. So there's that. And then I've got 3 TWSBI Ecos. I've got the purple transparent with a broad nib. There's a little bit of a theme going on this month. And then I've got the green transparent with a broad nib, and the orange transparent with a broad nib. And none of these pens came with a broad nib on them, so I did some switcherooing, and I'm really happy that I'm finally okay doing that. You know, I used to fear that I was going to ruin a feed, but now I actually have an extra feed, or maybe even 2. So I'm not as afraid of that. So this one, this one had a medium nib, and I had the replacement. It got a really bad crack on the section, on the barrel, or the section, but you know, it's all connected. And TWSBI sent me the replacement, but I just was, you know, didn't get to it. Well, now I replaced it, and I think I still didn't leave enough space down here, or I left too much, let's put it that way. I'd like to see it close just a little bit more, and it would be then more equivalent like with this one. But I'll try that once I clean this one. I noticed it kind of too late when I compared it with these others. I thought, uh-oh, well, that I know what to do. I have a little video I used to tell me, and I just needed to have done the technique one more time to have less space. But it's okay. It's not going to harm it any. It just maybe make a little more room for ink if I'd done it totally properly, which I think I can do next time. So getting a little bit more familiar, more comfortable messing with these Ecos is what really is going to help me, you know, enjoy them even more. And speaking of enjoyment, this tray, this is a from Galen Leather, and I am so enjoying it. Now, the only thing about it is, oh, do I dare show it? It's really gets dusty, and I'm sure you can probably see, oh, it's dusty. But other than that, so I think they have, if I'm not mistaken, they may have a cover that isn't see-through, and that might have been a better thing for me, because but I leave it open during the day when I'm writing, but then it keeps all the dust out of it, you know, and it keeps the cats out of it and the cat hair at night, so that's kind of nice. Okay, let's dive right into the ink journal, and I'll write with each one of these, and we can start seeing the beautiful inks. Okay, so let me make sure this is... Yeah, I can't see. There's a lot of glare on my glasses. First up is the Kaweco Sport in Mellow Blue. And I like this because I have the little clip on it. Kind of, I don't know, it looks real classy with the clip. I think pen friend Sharon sent the clip, but I can't remember. And we've got J. Herbin 1798 Kyanite du Nepal ink in it. And it's a shimmer ink. And it's just the base color alone is just so beautiful. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Kaweco Sport, Mellow Blue, Double Broad. That's definitely my Kaweco nib for sure. And it's actually, I wish all broad nibs were this broad. So, okay, and it's J. Herbin. I almost wrote amethyst. I'm so used to that being corresponding with J. Herbin. Kyanite du Nepal. Okay. And then we'll do a little smear because I like that because it helps me see how wet the ink is. And that is gorgeous. Really, really going to enjoy that this month. Not sure whether you can even see the shimmer because, again, I'm having a lot of glare issues right now. Okay, so next up is the little Jinhao 82, and I put in it a red ink. Well, maybe it's pink, but it looks red to me. Colorverse Red Shift also has red in the name, so I guess I can get away with calling it red. But once you get the water on it, you definitely see how pink it is interior anyway. And this is just gorgeous. I love this. So Jinhao 82 pink broad opus. Yeah, this again, I've been harvesting nibs. When I say that I'm doing nib swapping, in fact, I think there was a comment about nibs and prices and everything, and I'm not buying any. I'm just shuffling them around like now my poor Opus has a fine nib on it or a medium. I think since I did have some extras, I had medium Nemesine nibs because I wouldn't put an extra fine nib over on my Opus eyedropper. So it probably now is sitting there with a medium nib, but anyway, that's okay. I can either switch it back later or I can try that with a medium, maybe with a darker ink. Yeah, so it's a broad Opus nib, and we've got Colorverse Red Shift. This is pretty. I don't have a large bottle of it. It's a 15, I think it's, what are those little bottles? 15 mil. Probably won't get, yeah, well, this isn't the right one, but yeah, it's the little 15 mil size bottle. I'm not sure where I put the red shift now, but anyway, let's do our smear for this one. Whoops. Oh, no, I didn't do that right because I kind of hesitated. There we go. Okay, so I think that's going to be lovely. And I kind of like having red in a pink pen. It's kind of fun. Living on the wild side. Okay, so next up is a very unusual for me ink because it's just about as light as I ever go. But I had the 30 ml bottle of this Diamine Amber, and I thought, I really should try it. It looks so happy. And I'm glad I did because it's really pretty. So, and of course I have it in this TWSBI Go clear with a broad nib. And it's quite pretty. It actually reminds me of Sailor Apricot, unless I'm crazy, but I didn't dig out that tile yet, but I will. So TWSBI Go, let's see if I can hold it right and get a nice, Yeah, we got it. Broad nib, clear. I'm going to say clear so I know which pen I was using. With Diamine. It has nice shading. And it's readable. It does, the shading is so drastic that at times on a full letter page, because I'll confess, I wrote a letter with this the other day. It's going all the way to Australia, so it will be getting there after after the 1st of August anyway. And as I'm filming this, it's the 30th of July. But I did get a little bit of a head start with these because I was so bored with the rest of what I was writing with. So that's really, really pretty. I guess most people would call it an orange. I have a darker orange coming up here in a minute, and so I'll show you, you know, kind of what my idea of orange is. But okay, so then next up is the Benu Briolette Luminous Amber with the broad nib, and this is one of the Birmingham inks that I just got samples in from pen friend Cathie, and it's a Birmingham Smoke Stack, and I'm all crazy nuts over this ink already. And so I also now want to go back and compare it to Sailor 50 States Texas, because I'm thinking, well, why am I like completely going crazy for this ink? And I need to compare them side by side with another broad nib, and preferably a broad number 5 nib, so I can get that same sort of experience. Although I don't have another Schmidt number 5 in the broad, but I think I can come close with a excuse me, with a Yowo nib. So Benu Briolette, I hope I'm spelling that right. I better check that later. Luminous Amber. I love this. It ends up with green sheen on the letters, and it has a lot of nice shading too. So I'm going to put broad. So Birmingham. I actually went to the website to check this out, to see, you know, are they selling this? And it said sold out. So I don't know if that means, I don't know what that means, but of course for me, being on a pen fast, it means you're not buying any. But it was something I was willing to look into. And I already had my what do you call it? My budget for Christmas pen and ink or pen or whatever. And so I was almost thinking, ooh, I'd be willing to lock that up if I could get a bottle of that. Okay, so Birmingham Smoke Stack. But it's silly because I need to do a full comparison with the other brown inks I have. But that's kind of the way the excitement rolls, you know, with stuff like this. And being on a pen fast means I'll get to enjoy comparing the two, especially 50 States Texas, because I already know how crazy I am about that. You don't really see the sheen as much on this card, but when my letters dried on the letter I was writing, it left a nice distinctive green sheen that doesn't really take away from how the brown it looks. So I was super excited about this ink, and it has that flow, that beautiful flow. Okay, next up is the Jinhao X750. This is one of my favorite ones, and it's pink. I saw it on Instagram a long time back, and just had to get one. And I did put the Yowo broad nib, and I put in it Lamy Vibrant Pink. Now, I started out with the Nemesine 0.8 nib, and it just felt dry, and I thought, oh no, I'm not going to enjoy that. So I did change the nib. And I'm glad I did, because it just transformed it. There's no hesitation now. There's no, having to, well, this ink is just barely dry enough that it made a difference between that 0.8, which I love with other inks. For instance, when I get 50 States Texas in that nib, there's no hesitation. It's very flowy. So here we go, Jinhao X750. Oh, I just love this. And in a minute, I'll show you another ink tile and a kind of a theory as to why I like it so much. Apparently, this shade of pink is my thing. Pink pen and broad Yowo. Okay, and Lamy, and I have a bottle of this that came free with some purchase a long time back, and you know, I had a bottle that I used up too, so apparently I just like this ink. And I know I shared it out a lot too, back in the old days. Lamy Vibrant Pink. I'm talking about, you know, between the past 7 years, so. Let me do that little, okay, whoops, oh dear. We got some contamination with blue ink there. Darn it. Let's see if we can have a finger that's not blue. Okay, so we'll put a little disregard here. I don't want myself to think there's blue or purple highlighting in there. Okay, so this was what I was going to show you. It's no wonder that I really like this Lamy Vibrant Pink. It's very similar in a way to the J. Herbin Fuchsia de Magellan. And then, of course, I was getting into, oh, not Colorverse Pink, that's too light. And I was getting into another, well, it goes right in my hometown, so to speak, of, this is brighter. The Iroshizuku Azalea is much brighter, but it's still kind of on that continuum. And then there was another one too, but darn it, I didn't plan this part of the portion out too good, so. Nope, I just have my hands full there, so. Okay, but definitely when I saw, you know, I just got that Benu Pink Champagne, the Euphoria, and this was the ink that I got with it, and I realized, wow, these are kind of closer than you would think. Now this has lots more shimmer particle, and this has particle, but it's quite a bit different, the Lamy, so. Anyway, I thought I'd just point that out because it's so funny. Sometimes we have something right here in our own house and it's already so close and we're just, you know, going after a new thing. So we don't always have to do that. Okay, so here is the TWSBI Transparent Purple with a broad nib. This is the revamped, you know, it had the cracked, it was out of commission and it's back. I'm so pleased with that. And I put in it Pelikan 4001 Violet, which I was shocked my bottle was so low, but I've had it a long time and I used to write with it more. And then of course when I got like more purples, I think I started to sort of, you know, move around with different purples. And I just was shocked. I thought, oh, I haven't used this ink. And I actually thought it was a full bottle, but it wasn't. So, well, I thought it was like maybe 2/3. So TWSBI Eco. Transparent Purple, broad nib, Pelikan 4001 Violet. Also, this is darker in a nib than I thought it would be. Yeah, or I had another compare. Oh, this was Waterman Tender Purple. Okay, might add this to that card and do a little comparison. Okay, now I got to be careful of what I'm gonna. Okay. Use for a finger that's not already, you know, blue or red or something. So this is going to be a real nice combination. It's flowy and that broad nib really gives me nice, nice smooth writing. So next up is the green TWSBI Transparent with a broad nib. And I got out my TWSBI Forest Green. I wanted to use an ink I hadn't used in a while or that I wasn't really, you know, always talking about. And oh boy, was I surprised. This is gorgeous. I don't know where I've been. I have to go back and look and see whether this was part of that original set of 6 or whether I have this feeling that someone sent me this one. And pretty sure I'm going to be able to find out who, because I've got the, once I find the one that looks like this, then I'll be able to figure that out because I put the initials on the coloring cards. But there's been so much generosity, it gets a little complicated here. Okay, so this is TWSBI. Oops, I didn't hold that right. Eco. Transparent Green. Whoops, I'm not writing very pretty today. With a broad nib. And then TWSBI Forest Green. I love this. And I think if I can, I'll get my water brush out and but let's do this first. Okay, so let me see. Where am I gonna, oh, I get worried. Okay, well, we'll just do like a heart. And then we'll get the water brush. I kind of like how it draws out with the water brush. Let me just make sure that I'm not having another color. It's pretty. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it kind of draws out like a teal. So it looks like a nice forest green, and then it has this nice interior, so if you're going to use a water brush, you can get all kinds of fun. Hopefully you can see that at least a little bit. This is just beginning. I mean, when I go back in and I write in an ink journal and do all kinds of tests, then I'll be coming back with my progress report in the middle of August. So, okay, so last but not least is the orange TWSBI Eco that I also swapped on a broad nib onto this one. And this was a pen friend gift. Good grief. I'm going to put all of that in the description because there are some attributions to make. But I love this pen, and I love it with the broad nib even more. And I thought, well, since I was up there looking at all these older bottles of TWSBI ink, I thought I'll try the orange. And so I did, and it's gorgeous. But it's darker than I thought, so and which is a good thing, because I actually had thought, well, that's like Diamine pumpkin or something. But it's, mine anyway, is darker. I'm beginning to wonder, but TWSBI Eco, transparent. I'll have to look back on when I first got them. I have all my ink journals, so there's no reason why I can't look back. And I'd like to see whether they've changed or it's just me. My perceptions have probably changed. And now we'll be able to compare with Diamine Amber, because my husband right away said, oh no, that's an orange, that's not yellow. Well, I know it's not yellow, but it has more yellow in it. So this is TWSBI Orange. That's a nice simple name, ink name. Okay, and it's nice and flowy and matchy, which I love. So, okay. So that's going to be really fun. I already know for letter writing. It's almost like I have a, you know, sort of a kindergarten set of typical colors like you'd find in a crayon box. And I love it. I just love it. I think it'll really spiff up my August. So I just wanted to look at the color palette real quick before we move over to the library. There, so now you can see them all together. This was my whole goal for August, was I wanted happy colors, bright colors, happy colors, and saturated enough. And so I've met that with everything. This will be the only one that I don't know, depending on what paper I hop on and off. I have a feeling it's going to do a little better on white than it will on the cream paper, so we'll just have to see. But and I'm not sure how that will do on CVS caliber paper either, but that's part of the process for me. But everything else, the nibs are broad enough, the colors are bright or dark, and I don't remember when I've been quite this enthusiastic. Of course, I went for really comfortable pens. The newest pen in here is the Benu. But yet it's still, it's working with a broad number 5 nib, which I've worked with for a long time. So it's not out of my comfort zone or anything like that. And I think that's good. I mean, these are going to be my letter writing pens and probably my journaling as well. I finally got caught up on my letter writing again, and I just have a little bit cleaner space here to sit and journal from this desk. So I think we'll go over to the library where we can chat. And I will talk a little bit about why August needs to be, you know, bright colors, cheerful colors, happy, and all that. So I'll see you over there. There, I made it over here. Just as I was coming over, Coco got up from a kind of a long nap. So it was just perfect timing, because I won't have to worry about him jumping up there and then me feeling bad about having to get him down, because he is bigger than my set. So, you know, underneath there he kind of can knock things down. So, but he's doing really super good. So I was going to talk about August. That was what I was going to talk about. And those of you who know me really well know that I grew up in Vermont. I'm not from Texas, and now I'm living in South Texas. So the thing about August is that it's a tough contrast between, you know, August in Vermont and August in South Texas. So we have the heat down here. We have the storm threat kind of ramp up during August. And also, you know, as you're making your way through August in Vermont, usually by about the third week, by about state fair time, or, you know, time for the town fairs, it starts getting cooler. So you start thinking about pumpkins and fall, and, you know, there's that promise. Even when you have Indian summer, or, you know, a revert to hotter weather for a while, you know it's coming. And here you are nowhere near, you know, cooler weather in August. You're just nowhere near it. And it's kind of begins to show through maybe in October. But, you know, anyway, so August has traditionally been a rough month for me. Just, you know, not just the weather. It's not just that. You know, it also used to be tough during back to school time, because that was during years where the finances were really rough. And speaking of finances, yesterday I was getting groceries, and I thought I would just go through the back to school aisle anyway, even though it's a small back to school aisle, because I go to one of the smaller HEB groceries. But they had these glue sticks, which I use all the time. I guess it's their brand. Yeah, it's HEB. And 25 cents for two. And that's a really good price. So I got 2 packs because I use them constantly. I make my own return address little, well, I'm not going to say stickers, because I don't really have the stickers, so I just print it like if it was stickers on a really nice paper, and then I cut them out individually and round the corners and use a glue stick, because, you know, I guess I like to do everything the hard way. But anyway, I used to have stickers, come to think of it, but they started to not stick anymore, and I just didn't want to pay the money for stickers sheets, and I just thought they were just way overpriced, and I thought, I got my printer, I can just make them. So if you're looking for anything back to school, I couldn't believe how early it was. You know, it's not even August 1st yet. Today's July 30th, and yesterday was the 29th, and they've already got a whole bunch of back to school out. So there's quite a few things that are going to be out there for us. You know, they will be just so much more affordable during this period of time. So we actually got, in July, this huge break from the heat. We got a whole week, you know. It actually ended, I guess Sunday was a transitionary day, but we had almost a whole week of rainy weather, which is just unheard of down here. We've been having such a drought, and so it was really nice. It actually gave me lots more energy. I got more like little organizing things done. And I caught up on my pen pal letters, which is never really, I'm never caught up sort of until I go to the mailbox, so to speak. So, but that was such a, you know, a relief. It made me feel like, okay, Chris, you got to remember those rainy days when you're going through the rest of the summer, because when I saw the forecast last night, I thought I don't even need to see those. The numbers up there, 110, 111 heat index. So we're back at it now, but we had a nice, really nice break. My banana trees still haven't bounced back, which I'm really surprised. I mean, I've got one that's not quite as tall as me, and the others are just, they're just not growing. I'm kind of wondering if the soil just kind of got depleted, or, you know, I'm wondering if maybe when we get to this winter, if I could get some stuff to kind of rotate into the soil, you know, a couple of bags with some nutrients. I'm not sure, because they're still trying to pop back up. They were nothing during the winter. They froze and everything, and then they popped up again like they usually do, but they're not really growing. So luckily the palms are healthy, and our other trees are real healthy, and we're keeping them trimmed. So that's good. And the grass, the grass was very green this morning when I mowed it. It was, you could really see where you were mowing to. No dust was flying in my face, and it was quite the contrast there. So I don't have a whole lot of off topic, you know, to talk about today, but I just wanted to encourage you to use color to, you know, oh, I was looking over there, but I have it right in my hand. You know, use your pretty colors to really add something happy, and don't be afraid to do either nib swaps with what you already have. Don't be like me. It took me a long time to, you know, pull a nib. Oh, I was going to, let me go and get something. I want to show you one of the reasons why I'm not afraid anymore to pull the TWSBI nibs. I'm going to go get it. There. Okay, so I believe it was Pen Friend Marilyn that I saw using this, and they were talking about this. This is what I use now instead of the lobster band that I used to use, and instead of the little black goulet, I don't know what they actually call it, but gripper, I guess is gripper. This stuff is really super soft, especially if you get the really good kind that's real like squishy. I believe it's just to keep things from like skidding around. Like I guess they put it on shelves. I don't know what it's really used for, but one day I was in H-E-B and it was on the clearance aisle for almost nothing. You know, there's a little corner in our store that's right near the pharmacy, and when I saw the roll of it, because I tend to be a little cheap on most things, but anyway, this stuff is well worth it. And I had this before. I put it on top of my refrigerator, you know, where I'm going to set something so that it just won't, you know, push or kind of move around, especially if there's a little bit of moisture. So I use this to pull the nib and feed, and I feel like it's so much superior. And the only time, now, I think once lately I had to use the section pliers, and I'm not going to go get those. Those are pretty easy to find online. I got mine at Anderson, you know, but when I use the section pliers now, I use this and then the section pliers, so I won't do any damage. So I really love this stuff, and I will use it probably forever. I don't think I'm going back to any other, because what happened with my lobster bands, they're great. They're really soft at first, but then after a while they actually petrify. They harden up. I don't have one right here. Actually, I have a dried up one that I could show sometime, but I think that's going to get old if I keep, you know, hopping back and forth. But anyway, those do dry up, at least in our climate here, which is amazing, but maybe because we run an air conditioner all the time. So, you know, trying to keep the air dry. But this has been just absolutely my friend for pulling nibs. So don't be afraid of color and nib swaps within what you already have. And if you get a pen that kind of, like, this is how I've been thinking about it lately. I know I have a lot of TWSBI Ecos and I don't really want to get any more. I want to work with what I have. So if I have one break or crack now, I'm going to use it for extra parts. And, you know, you can always make a different choice later on. But I don't want to be paying $8 to have another section sent, and I have plenty of pen bodies, so to speak. So I'm gonna think of it that way. And you all know, who've watched me for a long time, that I have a little box with nibs, but none of my favorite nibs are in that box, other than maybe a few Lamy fine nibs, because I do like them a lot, but I tend to go toward the broad nibs, and now the 1.1 stub nibs too. So that nib box kind of shows me what I don't use, actually. It's kind of funny. But, gee, I wish I had more topics, but I don't. I'm just kind of trying to stay positive during, you know, the hot heat. And at a time where there's a lot of turmoil around, I am so grateful for this hobby and for the connections I have in the mailbox, you know, writing to people. And, you know, I really am trying to be a better pen pal, because having lots of pen pals, I know that I haven't been the very, very best pen pal. I have had times when it was a month or more before I could, you know, get writing again when I actually wanted to. Like I want to, but I would be like, oh, juggling, you know, kind of juggling. So I've tried to just write when I really felt like it, because that's going to be a better letter that way. And that's what I've been doing. But I feel like now that I'm not doing so much shopping and, you know, going after different things, you know, researching and all that, I have felt better and had more times when I could say, I caught up, you know, I caught up. And in fact, today I'm writing a letter to someone who I just haven't written to in a long time. I don't have a letter to reply to, but that's okay. That's okay. So it's like, whew, I'm actually catching my breath and really like getting more organized. That helps too, not spending more of my time looking for something new. So it's going well, I think, and I will leave it at that, and I will see you in the comments. I really want to hear, you know, what you're inking with and what you think of these choices. So I have a blue, red, kind of a light orange, I guess you could call it, with that amber. brown, pink, purple, green, orange. So pretty straightforward colors there. I do have a black pen, a black ink. I have cross black in a TWSBI Eco with a extra fine nib for my bullet journal, and it's like, I don't need to look anywhere else. That is so handy. And I kept having to refill the little Jinhao 248. So I decided I'm sticking with the TWSBI with the extra fine. It's so smooth, and the cross black looks really good in that number 5 extra fine nib. So, maybe it was just a good one, because normally I don't have any kind of good luck with a fine or extra fine. But I will say black inks are a little bit better for that in general. So I promised a few minutes ago I would go. I'll see you on the next video. I'm not sure what it'll be, but it's a really good time for creativity right now and indoor stuff. So I will see you then, and I'll see you in the comments. And thank you for all your support of my channel, everything, every like, every watch, every subscription, and every contribution over the years. I've got plenty of everything, but that's because of you. Because someone asked me, here I go again on another tangent when I said I was going to leave. Someone asked me, I think it was in a letter, whether I would have as much paper, or if I would have as many things if I wasn't doing YouTube. Well, no, I would not have, because I'm the type person that goes to a restaurant, and if I find something I like even if it, a takeout thing, like we found a new place called Golden Chick, and every time I go I get the catfish because I just like it, So I'm the type that doesn't really naturally explore too much variety all on my own. So anyway, I would say at least 50% of what I have, and more percentage-wise in paper and notebooks, because people really sent me a lot of different kinds of paper, probably more like 75% of the paper, because I was really slow to explore different types of paper, and definitely with pens and inks, at least 50% of what I have is because of pen friends, viewers, and contributors to this channel. So thank you very much. I am this summer emphasizing using what I have. So, please don't think I need more. I'm not asking, I'm not, well, anyway, you know what I mean. I'm not soliciting more, that's for sure, because I actually feel like right now I'm getting to some of the things that were sent to me quite some time ago, especially when it comes to ink. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I love exploring new things too, but I'm not wanting to have any contribution be, and I won't say wasted, because it's not going to be wasted, but I want to be able to fully explore each thing. So, okay, this is way beyond the amount of time I expected to be on. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.